Hello, my beautiful friends. So today I am doing the first installment of Deeper into the Wisdom of the Wheel with Denise Cron. I will link her work below, so I'm very excited to participate as a member of this Celtic spirituality group that is focused on the Wheel of the Year. So if you're not familiar with the Wheel of the Year, it is eight festivals. In the Celtic tradition, we really honor four of them. The other four really have kind of been added in the neo-pagan movement, but they correspond, they're really every 6 weeks throughout the year. So you get to have a holiday every 6 weeks, but four are really recognized in the Celtic world. So I'm excited to participate in that. And as I was doing my reflection last night and this morning, I was just thinking, like, words come to me, songs come to me, and there's this beautiful song by John Bell, who is a living songwriter, and he's out of Iona. And the I'm not going to sing for you because trust me, you don't want to hear that. The It's a very simple song, and it just repeats this phrase. Don't be afraid. Um, don't be afraid. My love is stronger. My love is stronger than your fear. And I love that. I love that. And then in my head, this part of a psalm, and I don't even actually remember what psalm it is. If you know, put it in the comments. It's this phrase that says, I'm a worm of a man. And then it talks about people despising him. I can't remember what psalm that's from, but that keeps going through my head. And I think it's because I've been thinking about just different people that we encounter in life. And, right now things are, very frightening for people for whatever reason, whether it's because SNAP benefits have been discontinued or are paused or whatever, or people are losing their jobs or whatever. People are afraid. People have fear in their hearts, and, that comfort that we get from spirit, whatever your tradition is, whatever, if you're Christian or not, don't be afraid. My love is stronger. Spirit's love is stronger, and and we're all going to make it. We're all going to make it through, right? It's going to be tough. We're going to have to climb a mountain, perhaps, but there will be light. There will be sunshine. And then I'm like, well, how does that connect at all with I'm a worm of a man? Like, that keeps going through my head, and and I know specifically in my personal life what it refers to. People without integrity, without I don't know, like I know how we would say it in the neighborhood, so I'm not going to say it that way, but people who don't stand up for other people. So in Dante's Inferno, here's a brief literature lesson. If you've read Dante's Inferno, you know that the first layer of the Inferno after you walk through the gates isn't people who necessarily sinned. It's people who didn't make a decision in this physical life, and they were always on the fence. They were always people who, to protect themselves, didn't take a stand, right? And so they're bit by bees and stung by bees and stuff. And it's people that didn't choose. When Jesus went into the Inferno, or went into the Inferno, not the Inferno, went into Hades, and said, I'm the Son of God, they didn't choose to go with him. So that's how Virgil becomes Dante's tour guide through the Inferno, because even though he wasn't necessarily sinful, he denied the sovereignty of Christ, right? So he could lead him through the Inferno, but then he couldn't take him on to Purgatorio or to Paradiso. It's like Dante's Inferno in 5 minutes. But I always think about that level of people who who are lukewarm and just don't take a stand. And they see something bad happening, or they see something wrong going on, and they're either complicit because they say nothing, or they turn their heads so that they don't have to see it happening. And I feel like in our society, no matter where you live in the world, that happens and has happened over the history of time, where, just things happen and you feel like you don't have a voice and you can't stop it. And what is your little light going to do in this ginormous windstorm? Like, how are you going to hold that candle in that tornado? And then, there's this call, like, don't be afraid. My love is stronger, and my love is stronger than your fear. So, just an encouragement to keep our candles lit. You might have to keep starting them up. Get one of those, those really good lighters that, that you can light your candle with. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to remember that every day and every second of every day. But we have to do that to stand up for people, and to help people on their path, whatever that path is, right? So, if, no matter what side you are on, like no matter what political side you sit on, hungry children are hungry children. So if you have an extra sandwich, give one. It doesn't matter what the politicians do. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Like what matters is that child in front of you. That's something that you can do today. And if you don't have the money to give a sandwich, right, then give a smile, hold a hand, empathize or sympathize, or, show kindness. Kindness is free, and that we all can give, because we're all going through something. And, whether it's the government that's in charge of that, or if it's the church that's in charge of that, or your local community, whatever, you know, um, whatever the pain and suffering is, like, you as an individual can bring light and hope to one other person by just smiling and saying a kind word. And we all just have to embrace this idea that we shouldn't be afraid, because our spirit, God, whatever you believe in, your higher self, that love is stronger than your fear. And there will always be men who are worms, women who are worms, others who are worms, right? There'll always be those people, who can't be relied on, who can't be trusted. There will always be those people, because there always have been those people. So, you can't live, in fear of them. You have to live in championing what you believe in, and bringing the little hope and with your little candle to everyday situations. And that's how we move forward. So I'm thinking about that as I head into my, retreat day, and I am wishing you all the very best in light and love. Be well. Take care. Bye bye.